Hello guys, TKG is here for your comfortable LostArk life. In this video, I'd like to cover the new class, Aeromancer. As the global roadmap shows the release of the Aeromancer on the coming August, so I thought it'd be great to show and preview the general experience of the Aeromancer for your LostArk journey. Now follow me, I'll show you what you need. Before I start this video, one thing you gotta know. This video is from the KL server, and of course, it is based on the KL statistic and common experience right now, as the LostArk always try to fix the balance between the class by classes, so in the future, some of the composition of the skill can be changed too. And one more thing, the whole translation on the skills are actually done by myself, so after the release, the terms and words can be changed too. So watch this video as just previewing the Aeromancer class, and use this video as your reference before the release of the Aeromancer. As I mentioned in the previous 3.0 video, Aeromancer is actually quite released a year ago in KL. She was updated in July 6th, 2022, the time when the LostArk players in KL was shocked about the Kim Gang-sun and stepping down from his director positions. Aeromancer is quite aged class, but after the balance patch, her damage performance was hugely nerfed, especially on the weather concept engraving, ACB, which the engraving I'm covering in this video. And maybe you guys more familiar with the Drizzles. Her identity skill is called Yobi, Sun Shower if I have to translate. Her identity is quite passive, but also affect the other players and herself, damage performance. As the first intention was a synergy dealer class, her identity will give you and your teammates quite useful buff during her identity uptime. She is not that great or powerful DPS class, and also has a little ambiguous synergy too, especially on ArkㅣPreview. Well, this is my personal experience on the Drizzles. Maybe you guys could feel a little different. Let's start with covering the class engraving. The class engraving I use in this video is ArkㅣPreview. Maybe you guys more familiar terms as Drizzle. Unlike the umbrella change the whole mechanism of the Aeromancer, Drizzle doesn't change a lot of things of the Aeromancer. Drizzle class engraving reduce the consumption of the identity meters and also change the damage of the weather skill damage, more like enhancing the damage of the weather skills while the identity is active. Well, let's talk about the detail of those specialty later on this video. Talking about the combat stat, as you guys might already know or expect, as the damage performance mostly relies on the identity, or maybe the uptime or just applying the identity. So in other words, that means you have to endure the heavy controls during the whole gameplay. Maybe the most representative of the Drizzle Aeromancer these days in KL, and maybe the most efficient build or combat stat right now with hallucination set. Actually, the efficiency of the specialization of the Drizzle quite significant, so I gotta be honest, specialization stat is forced to use. In other words, it is inseparable. So mostly we do or must use a specialization stat no matter what. But unlike the heavy and unpleasant controls, her mechanism is quite simple. Actually, it is really easy and not many things to know for the full performance. More like it is a full of repeat, wait, repeat. So it is quite easy to access for the beginners too. And also, like Master Summoner, she is really capable of maintaining the buff of the hallucination set. And of course, her one cycle of skill combo damage is quite decent. Maybe more than you expect. But still, you need to keep in mind about the adrenals and critical buff during their gameplay. And of course, she has a variation build too. Still, you gotta use a specialization stat for the efficiency for your damage performance. But as you decided to use a swiftness stat, she could be a little more mobile. Maybe to summon, it can be less hard for the control too. Might be great to use in the actual gameplay, but it costs, right? Using swiftness build means that you are giving up about 3 to 4% DPS performance compared to the critical one. So if you wish to raise your Drizzle Aeromancer like one of your alts, this is just for you. If you are expecting some great damage dealing class, then this is not for you. Drizzle Aeromancer's positioning is more like a sub-damage synergy class. So in other words, if you are expecting some great and cool performance like the other classes, for example like Ignite or Sorceress, this is not for you. Drizzle Aeromancer has an easy mechanism to adapt and easy to do a one cycle, combos in most of the raid. And of course, as the Drizzle Aeromancer has a lot of hitting skills, whole skills are quite consistent with multi-hit skills, so you can be more easier to maintain your line or buff inside of the whole raid. And unlike the other classes, skill of the Aeromancer is quite structured than the other classes, or maybe simpler than the other classes, so you can pick it up and play right away. As I keep mentioning in the previous and in this video, she is not a main side DPS characters, and most of her skill is consistent with the multi-hit skills, unlike the Slayer and Sorceress class pouring the skill very fast with a huge damage, right? But Drizzle Aeromancers can't do that, more like capable on stationary bosses like Vultan, Phase 2, and Belshazzar Gate 4. In my personal experience, 질풍노도 Aeromancers can do something when you're left alone, but as a Drizzle, it was quite hard for that. And of course, you can be a little annoyed about that slow and heavy control. I think the preference and the recommendation of the Drizzle Aeromancer can be summarized like this. I want some moderate characters, but I don't want to do a support, but can show moderate damage performance, and I'm not that eager to be in an MVP screen, and I want to adapt the raid and control mechanism faster. This class is just for you. And above all, one of the best advantage of the Aeromancer, cute. Cute is the best, right? I don't care nothing, I just want cute characters. Well then, this is for you. So in other words, if you wish to know and adapt faster for the game itself and character mechanism, this character is just for you. So what is the core of the Drizzle ESLB Aeromancer? The core mechanic of the, well, I just say with the Korean, 아덴, which means identity, and the 증기 조절, steam control. More like utilize your 증기 조절, steam control skills while the Yobi is active. So that means you need to fill up your identity faster to make it to show you a moderate or decent damage performance during the whole gameplay. So more like an instant and constant connection of the damage increase tripod, and with her, identity. Her skill composition is right now is like this. Her core skill is consisted with two parts. 증교획득 part, which increase your identity supply, or maybe related to your identity supply, and 증기 조절 part, steam control, which the skill that directly relate to your damage performance. We call this three skill as 떼싹소. It is an abbreviation of the 떼약볕, 싹센바람, 소용돌이, scorching sun, sweeping wind, and vortex. So as I mentioned in the previous chapter, all you need to do is identity supply, turn on identity, Yobi, and pour your 증기 조절, steam control skill during the identity uptime. Pretty easy to understand, right? And some of the skills are quite versatile, or maybe it has a multi-role in the skill composition. 소용돌이, Vortex is an example for that. Vortex has a 증기 조절, steam control tripod on a skill set, but that skills can be used in the identity supply too, maybe like Esoteric React on the sorcerers. Nice damage performance, but also quite handy on filling up your identity. Empty skills can be filled with synergy or utility skills like 날아가기, mostly for synergy or extra movement skills, or maybe for extra damage performance. Maybe I could show you more detailed skill builds and tripod composition later, after the release of the Aeromancer on the global. Unlike the 질풍노도, Storm Fury Aeromancer has a quite free hand with the identity and a skill cycle. I mean, 질풍노도 Aeromancer has a shorter cooldown and has more flexibility than the Drizzle Aeromancer. So 질풍노도 Aeromancer doesn't have to be so obsessed about the identity meters. But if you are Drizzle, situation can be changed. Just like the other classes in the LostArk, Aeromancer also has two awakening skills. One that's summoning Vortex, and the one that's using Umbrella Sword. Might be thinking, if so, that Blade one is for the Storm Fury and the Vortex is for the Drizzle? Well, guess again. In my personal experience, using Blade, or I'll say with Korean, 날아가의 칼날, is quite recommended for Drizzles. Reason is simple. Blade will fill up your identity meter full. Let's say the Storm Fury are jabbing fighters. I don't know if this is the right metaphor, but anyway, Drizzle is more like a little outboxer style, which means it has a little heavier movements and with some long or delayed cooldown. And of course, like the Storm Fury Aeromancer, you really need that identity meter for your full DPS performance. 돌개바람 is a great advantage for the Aeromancer, because it's a quite long duration of uptime, critical rate buff will be increased or renewed even from the coming back umbrella, but also with those small projectiles. So it is much more better to renew the critical rate buff inside of the whole contents. Unlike the other classes, her main skill is consistent with quite multi-hit skills, which looks cool, but also she could have a decent recovery on her skill cycle. For example, if the identity is inevitably turned off due to a pattern of the boss, some of the characters had a little hardship to recover this identity again. In other words, you need some more time to feel up your identity and start your damage dealing again. More like need some time to recover from the collapsed skill combos or cycle, right? But unlike those classes that depends on their identity, Drizzle Aeromancer is not that difficult to recover a cycle. Maybe it has a softer cushions to fill up and start the damage dealing again. Of course, if you miss everything, it can be a problem, but you know that? That's not happening, right? Comparing with the Stone Fury Aeromancer, Drizzle Aeromancer skill combo is quite fixed on her cycle. Combo is quite simple to know. First, you fill up identity meters with your Jinky Rectu, Steam Acquire skills, turn on identity, throw Umbrella, which increases your critical rate, and pull your Jinky Jojo Steam Control skills. Pretty easy, right? Not many things to remember, not many things to concern. Maybe everything is fine and dandy. Some of you might already know that Aeromancer has a good reputation on daily Chaos Dungeon due to a long and wide attack range of her skills, even without a betrayal set. And also to easily be Drizzle in KL, we call the God of Chaos Dungeon. Well, this is the reason for that. All you have to do is turn on and wait. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching everyone, and always thanks for your big support. Hope this video was a little help for your LostArk journey. Hope to see this new class and the global very soon. And of course, if you like my videos, hit us up for more coming infos. I'll come back with more useful infos in the next video.